Everyone. Welcome to our third Senate meeting. Thank you, everybody, for bringing yourselves in, probably reluctantly, from this gorgeous weather outside. So I appreciate that everybody took some time out of their afternoon to come and spend it with us. We'll go ahead and welcome all of our campus presidents and all of our senators, and make sure we can all hear one another. We'll start with downtown. Robin, how do you hear us?
We hear you just fine. Thank you.
Thank you. And on our Polytechnic campus, Nancy, how are you guys doing?
We're doing great. We hear you.
Thank you. We're doing great down here. And then, of course, on West Campus, Owen, how's everyone doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and call to order this meeting. And remember, if we lose video, we'll just take a 10-minute recess. Otherwise, we still have audio. Just as a reminder, we'll continue. If we lose both audio and video, well, we'll be back outside in this gorgeous weather. So we'll go ahead and make sure we have a quorum. So we'll go ahead and use our clickers to just do if you just select your current campus, please. I either need an eye exam or my screen is fuzzy, but how are we looking? Our response is slowing down? All right, we are good. Thank you, everyone. And then we'll go ahead with our pop quiz of the day question. So, which of the following is considered the executive board of the University Senate? A, the Personnel Committee, B, University Academic Council, C, Student Faculty Policy Committee, D, none of the above. We'd like to start hopefully easy on a Monday. Good. Please go ahead. We'll go ahead and close and see what we got. Perfect. Yes. So your answer is actually University Academic Council. None of the above. That's all right. We'll go back and review your notes later. It's fine. It's okay. Well, we'll go ahead and begin. I wanted to, if you're looking at your agenda, you may have seen that both our provost, Mark Searle, and our deputy provost, Stephanie Lindquist, are here. But Stephanie had a previous engagement, and that came up, and so we have plenty of time subsequently for our provost. So I'll go ahead, please, and invite our provost up, Mark Searle. Thank you again.
Thank you, Donna. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the second half of this semester. So when you're the provost to Mike Crow, you're kind of like Bob Musil. Anybody know who Bob Musil is? Glad Frank does. So Bob Musil batted third behind Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. So he toiled in a certain amount of anonymity, which actually doesn't upset me a great deal, but it is a good characterization of the life I lead. So I'm happy to be here. So a lot of the stuff that provosts usually talk about are the things that Mike has already talked to you about, that enrollment is up. Not only enrollment is up, but one of the things I don't think he mentioned is, which is very important, is that the quality of the freshman class was up substantially. We had a 20% increase in what we call Dean's Scholars, and almost a 10% decline in the bottom of the class. And so It's not only more enrollment, but it's much better enrollment, and that makes a huge difference for all of us in the long term. And that's not by going out of our way to exclude anybody. That's just the way it worked out with us recruiting heavily, both in-state and out-of-state. And we are constantly looking to improve the gap between the Pell and the non-Pell students, and we're seeing enormous changes in that space. We're seeing all kinds of things that you're probably familiar with, as many of you are now living, the migration to Canvas. I'm glad that actually more than 2/3 of the classes have already been migrated for spring. We're using e-portfolios. A lot of you know about those. We have to figure out how to make better use of our e-portfolios. So it's not only a great asset for our students, over 150,000 e-portfolios have been created by our students, including now 6,000 alumni. They see the tremendous value in having these portfolios where they can store their work, present their work, curate their work, etc. And they can export it to LinkedIn. They can do all kinds of things with it. It's fantastic. We have to use it as a direct measure of learning assessment. This is a great way to gather evidence to see whether students are learning what we say that they're learning through our programs that we promote. And on Thursday, I take 23 new programs to the Board of Regents, and I can guarantee you the one question they always ask me is, what are the learning outcomes and how are you going to know? And so we have to make a better effort to document that learning outcome, and one of the ways we can do that is through those digital portfolios. We're also moving to a product called Interfolio. A lot of units have been using this already for hiring. It has kind of 3 dimensions. It can be used as a way to receive applications and so forth. We're going to continue to do that. We're going to expand it, so we're going to do all annual faculty reporting through that. And you won't have to enter any of your own data. We're hiring people who will enter everything. All you'll have to do is go in and make sure it's correct. And then after that, you'll just update it annually. And then eventually it can be used for, it has a promotion and tenure package in it so that we can use it. We do a lot of that digitally now, but this would be an even easier system for us to use. So all that is all the stuff that's moving forward, and you know, there's a litany of things that we constantly are trying to do at the university to advance, to position ourselves better, to serve our students, to serve our community, and to serve the faculty in terms of ensuring that they can pursue their scholarship in the manner that they want to. But I'd like to spend the rest of my time actually talking about something that's more important to me, at least I think it is in the long term, and that is that we had a terrible tragedy occur recently in Pittsburgh. 11 people lost their lives in a senseless shooting. That comes on the heels of bombs sent to leading Democrats. It comes on the heels of a year or so ago shooting at a Baptist church in Charleston, and a litany, sadly, of other violent events that have been happening. The dialogue in our world, and I don't mean just the country, seems to be shifting dramatically. One only has to look at who got elected as the new president of Brazil the other day. That should be disconcerting to all of us. And it raises the importance, from my point of view, of just how central the university is in the future of the country. It is the place, in my opinion, where we can have dialogue about contentious and very difficult subjects. It's a place where we can engage that which offends us, that we find disagreeable, that we find objectionable, but not with violence, but with the ability to engage that subject in a meaningful way to defeat those ideas, to help people understand why those ideas are so objectionable, to understand why those ideas don't have a place in democracy. And that falls on us. I teach every fall, and I'm committed to that because I got to do the same things that you do. I'm expected to write and publish. I do those kinds of things. I'm as much a faculty member as I ever was, albeit I only have to teach one course. But we have to build an institution that really allows our students to learn these kinds of issues, to be able to not be protected from them, but to engage them. How do they engage them constructively? How, through the art of rhetoric, do we help them construct arguments and defeat these ideas? How do we help them with their oral communication so that they can do this? How do we help them with their analytical abilities so they can engage this and defeat these kinds of things that are so disagreeable to any notion of democracy in any kind of way? To accomplish this, we have a shared responsibility, just as we do in governing our own activities. Our university leadership is not just people like me and administrative appointments, but it's also people like Donna and the members of the University Academic Council, members of the Staff Council, members of our student government, who all participate in the leadership of the institution. And all of you, and all of your colleagues throughout the institution, who in many different ways influence what we do. There are very few places in the world where you can work where people get to participate to this level in deciding what the planning and priorities and policies ought to be for the institution. In most places, there's a CEO and a board, and everybody else does as they're told, and when they're told that we no longer need them, there's thanks very much for your service and goodbye. We don't live in that kind of world. We live in a very special place. It's a fantastic place, and one we have to be committed in every way possible to ensuring it thrives and to make sure that our students thrive in understanding the values of what a university is about. We also protect it. We make sure that there's policies in place. So we all live by a code of ethics. And for those of you who don't know that, check our policy manual. There's actually a code of ethics, and there's a code of professional conduct. And our students have a code of conduct. So it's not that anything goes within a university, but within the realm of reasoned argument, within the realm of debate, we can discuss anything, and we should. We share a commitment to learning and discovery of knowledge. I think it's deeply held by all of us. It's deeply held, I know, by all of our leadership and all of our faculty. And that's important to advance the collaboration that is the relationship between the university and all of its constituencies. So as we move forward, we're going to be tackling a lot of new things. Thanks to Senate members, Shirley and Joan have been at the forefront of this. We're looking at a different way of tackling general education. And let me tell you, that's long overdue. We haven't changed general education here in 40 years, maybe longer. And as I said to the deans, I said, 2 of my predecessors tried to address this. I don't plan to be the 3rd one who died on this hill. And so we need to make some real progress here and to recognize that what students need to learn has changed over time. And we've accomplished a lot as I see ASU. I've been here almost 24 years, and the change has been remarkable. Some of you have been here much longer than I, and I'm sure you see that perspective as well. And yes, we still got lots to do, and I'm confident we can get it done, but we get it done by working together, being collaborative, and advancing the very ideals that brought us to this in the very first place as faculty members, as people who wanted to study, people who wanted to learn deeply about something, and then wanted to share it and help others in the next generation and the generations to come to really master that knowledge and advance themselves. And that's a root part of our democratic tradition. And so I'm really pleased to share these thoughts with you, and if you'd like, I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Provost Searle. I'll go ahead around to the different campuses, please, to see if there's any questions. The downtown campus, Robin, are there any questions for our Provost?
No, no questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
You're welcome.
Nancy, any questions for our Provost?
No, thank you.
And we'll look at Tempe. We have a couple questions at the mic. Helene?
Thank you very much for your words, Provost Searle. I'm going to go to something a little bit more banal and down to earth. I know a lot of us were very happy when we read the reports, the news reports, that the scooters are not supposed to be on campus. But they are. So can you speak a little bit about what the university is doing to enforce the rule against the scooters?
I spoke to the person in Morgan Olson's shop today, coincidentally, about this. I was actually giving him a hard time. You have to know that he's about 6 inches, maybe 7 inches taller than I am. And so I said to him when he walked in the building, I said, I didn't see your scooter. And he said, point taken. They are working hard to try and figure out ways to rid these of the campus. They have a problem, clearly, and they're well aware of it. They're working with the companies themselves, and they are looking to gather these up and move them off the campus where they find them, but they have yet to find the best solution. All I can say is that we have them, but we have some less of them at this moment. Helen, it's a serious problem because I know myself I think I'm about almost run over by some of them, so I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Jose Menendez from Physics. Just following up on your comments, this weekend there was an article in the Financial Times telling the story of Cornell University that has apparently put on hold its programs with China, and in particular with Renmin University. And this is because some students at the university, Chinese students, have been punished for supporting a strike or some kind of event like that. And so I, just as out of curiosity, I did a search, Renmin University, ASU, and sure enough, there was a page in the ASU Now indicating that we were engaged in that university and have been trying to establish programs together. And then I discovered that there is an organization of the Chinese government on campus, which is the Confucius Institute. So my general question is, do we have any kind of ethical standards for engaging foreign countries and depending on their type of government?
We do, and I don't know that they're anything other than the values that the university believes in. So, for example, we have been dealing with the Saudis, but they were hosting a conference in the middle of the Khashoggi event. We chose not to send our delegates to that conference and to stand down until we better learn what's coming next. On the Chinese one, I wasn't aware of the issue that has arisen. We have another issue. I mean, we're also partners with an institution in Ghana, and their students were rioting while actually President Crow was there this past week, and the university was closed down as a result. But it's hard to know all the facts on the ground in those circumstances, so we're still trying to learn things before we make some decisions. But the Chinese one is one I just didn't know about, so we'll have to take a look at that and see where that is and what implications may arise from that. Yes.
Thank you, Provost Searle. Crystal Griffith, School of Film, Dance, and Theater. I really appreciate your comments about really trying to take into consideration the world that we live in and try to help prepare our students better for that. And in part of your list, you overlooked some people. And this is, unfortunately, the reality that we live in, that there are so many. We also lost Maurice Stallard, 69, and Vicki Jones, 67, in Kentucky at the Kroger shooting.
All right.
One of the things that happens when I teach in the arts is that a lot of the students' work speaks to this, whether they actually do it in person in an individual meeting or it shows up in their work. And some of the comments that I've had from some of my international students, and this is just anecdotal, but these are really smart, driven, amazing, confident students. They don't feel safe. And one of them commented that she noticed that all the Muslim students stick together, all the South Asian students stick together, and she's noticed this. She's an international student herself with a very thick accent, just walking through Memorial Union. She says, the reason why they're not mixing is because they don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. That's what she said. So I have a real concern for that. what is the university doing? I know that there are lots of things we try to do, but structurally, what are we as a university doing to help particularly our Muslim students, our GLBTQ students, our trans students? I really appreciate the work that came out of HIDA, asking us as faculty to put our PGPs there. All of this are really great efforts, but I just have happened to come upon a lot of students who don't feel safe, and there's only so much I can do as a faculty to say, we're trying. I want to know what the university is objectively, concretely doing, please. Thank you very much.
No, I appreciate the question, and I wish I could stand here and give you the kind of answer that would give you the comfort that you're looking for, because I think it's very difficult. The circumstances we find ourselves in is right to the point that you raised with me in terms of people who weren't identified, and that there are so many circumstances that we're now facing where ill treatment by others, whether it's a slight in one way or another to violent action, is becoming way too normative. I find it ironic that we see elected leaders say things like, this is not who we are as a people. And I think to myself, it seems to be that's who we are because we keep doing it. At least we somehow don't do anything to inhibit it. At least, so it seems. Maybe it's just one of those things where it's going to take a long time to repair. But we constantly are looking through, particularly our educational outreach and student services unit, to find ways to bring students together from across different kinds of backgrounds. Because we agree with you that it's one of the reasons we haven't had an international student center, because it then further segregates international students away from the mainstream of the university body. And trying to find ways to build a more integrated approach. They've tried some meal nights, they've tried some other kinds of things around trying to celebrate differences rather than deal with just issue-related kinds of things. But I'm going to take that back and see what more we can be doing and redouble our efforts. I think it's very important. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you. And then, seeing no more questions here in Tempe, Owen, any questions for our provost on West Campus?
No questions here. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for your thoughtful questions and comments, and thank you.
Yes, I just want to add one thing.
By all means.
Some of you may have been reading about me in the paper, not the way I would have preferred to be in the paper, dealing with one of our colleagues, but it is instrumental only in the sense that we couldn't have done what we did without the firm decision-making the Senate made to change the policies of the university. And I truly believe what I said and what is quoted in there is that it's simply inconceivable to me how people behave in that way, knowing what they know today. And I just want to know that it was because we have the enabling policies that allow us to do this kind of work and stop this at the institution. So thank you for that. Thank you all.
Thank you again. I really appreciate your time and words. I'll go ahead and begin with the chair's report. First, as always, I'd love to highlight our great senators, and we'll highlight this month John Dalmas. And he is with the W.P. Carey School of Accountancy. John is serving his third year in the Senate and has been at ASU for 18 years. Which is fabulous. He served on the University Services and Facilities Committee and reported that serving in the Senate provides what he reported as being a great opportunity to serve the university, of course, while learning more about the inner workings and shared governance, which is so, I hear that all the time. It's such a great opportunity to kind of see, kind of peek behind the curtain a little bit. He also shared that he strongly encourages his peers to consider serving at the Senate and its committees. It's just a great opportunity really to meet other colleagues who you might not otherwise get to collaborate with. And I can certainly parrot that as well. It's been a great opportunity. It's always a great opportunity to get to meet other people that you wouldn't maybe necessarily get to meet otherwise. And that it's a great way to engage with our faculty members. So I want to thank John for his service with the Senate and appreciate his time and expertise as well. A couple other things I just want to provide updates on for everybody, please, is we'll be coming up with a vote within the UAC to identify our next Senate President-elect. This is a vote that we, within the, as your pop quiz question was, within the UAC, we identify who will be basically replacing me next year. We'll have that person identified by December for sure. So we'll get to introduce that individual, within the next month or two, which will be great. Also want to remind you all that in spring we'll be having the campus president-elect elections. So that will be for, of course, all 4 campuses. So if someone nominates you, please consider running for one of these leadership positions. It's a really great opportunity, again, to represent your campus and the faculty and all the work that everybody does. Another thing that's coming up is tomorrow we'll have a few of us within the UAC. We'll have a teleconference as part of the Pac-12 Academic Leadership Coalition. We always think of Pac-12 as the athletic conference, but this is the Pac-12 Academic Leadership Coalition. And then we'll follow up in February with a site visit out to USC. And so that's generally what that group is all about. Is typically it's your Senate President, your Director, and then an appointed Pac-12 representative, which for us is Shirley Rose. And it gives us an opportunity really to kind of meet with, it's basically the organization of all the shared governance leaders for all of the 12 universities within our conference. And it's just a great opportunity for us to kind of share ideas, and gather information on how do the different universities execute their shared governance, how can we maybe provide information on how we go about this, and maybe get insight and tips on how to do so successfully here at our university. A couple of other things, just to remind you, just in case, that at the request of the Senate Personnel Committee, we have seen that paid parental leave for both ASU employees was approved and is currently being implemented. So just want to make sure that was clear that that's, previously was 6 weeks of shared leave, but now it's each faculty member has individual 6 weeks, so an accumulation of 12 paid. And staff, yeah, pardon me, yes, faculty and staff, everybody. So yes, thank you for the clarification, I appreciate that. And then really the last thing, I know as we're into week 12 of this semester, more than halfway through, and you've probably already got your spring schedule set, which means that probably all of your courses are filled. Consider, again, we talked about concerns with TAs and graders. If you, remember to communicate any concerns that you maybe have about TA availability or grader availability to your chairs or directors. So because I know as we start to, we're still thinking about fall, I realize, but we have to, think ahead. Foresight is 20/20, as they say. Hindsight, foresight is a great luxury. Hindsight's 20/20 for a reason. So again, consider what maybe your needs are, and if there are some concerns that you have that you think that here, we in the Senate can help you, please let me know. With that, that's all I have in terms of a chair report. And as always, we're here to support you. And if you have any concerns, please always feel to bring those forward. We always appreciate that. So we'll go on to new business then. Remember, this is just going to be our first read. So I would go ahead and please invite Lily to come up and go through our new motions.
Hi, everyone. The following motions and proposals will be taken up at the CAPC meeting this Thursday, November 1st, and then will be brought back to the Senate for vote at our next meeting on November 26th. So if you have any questions, concerns, or suggestions, please get them to me by this Thursday so we can make sure that they are addressed at the CAPC meeting. And certainly let us know before the next Senate meeting so we can make sure that all parties that have an interest can be represented. So The items listed in Appendix A will be brought up at the CAPC meeting, but won't be brought back before the Senate. So if you have any questions or concerns or suggestions, please get those to me by this Thursday morning. So here are the motions. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, Sanford School of Social and Family Dynamics for the name change of a graduate degree from PhD in Sociological Inquiry to a PhD in Sociology. Request from the new College of Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences, School of Humanities, Arts and Cultural Studies for the establishment of an undergraduate degree, BA in Disability Studies. Request from the Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College, Division of Teacher Preparation for the establishment of an undergraduate degree, BAE Special Education, and an undergraduate concentration, BAE Visual Impairment. Those are the motions and proposals. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. And then on to some of our previous business. We'll do consider a vote on new course proposal and the consent agenda that was distributed by email on the 15th of this month. These are courses, again, remembering that we vote on these in bulk unless there's a request to remove a course from the consent agenda. So I'll just double check with all of our campuses to make sure there is no concerns. Robin, does anyone have any courses that they would like to remove from the consent agenda that you see?
No, we don't have anything to remove.
Thank you. Nancy, any concerns that were expressed in Polytechnic, please?
Nothing here.
Thank you. And I do have an individual, please.
Hi, this is Jillian Geil from the School of Life Sciences. We would like to request that the motion from the new college, it's 2019-15, for the establishment of an MS in Biological Data Sciences. We request that that be pulled from the consent agenda today. The issue is that this master's program uses a School of Life Sciences course as a required component. And School of Life Sciences wasn't consulted about this, and so we need to figure this out before it just gets voted through. Okay, so I'd like to pull that one. The second, 2019-15, MS in Biological Data Science.
That's part of the CAPC versus the new course proposal.
It's, oh.
Okay. But duly noted. We can come back to it, I promise. That's all right. It's Monday. It's fine. It's Monday. But thank you. Like I said, we'll get to that in like 3 minutes, I promise you. So barring that, which is optimal, Owen, anything on the West Campus, please?
Wait for all this. Nothing yet. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, then we'll go ahead and call for a vote, please, on the new course proposal, please. I won't leave you out there flapping, I promise. You look good. We've got
Closing the vote.
Perfect. 91 yes, 0 no, 6 abstain. Thank you, everybody, and that motion has passed. I will go ahead and invite Lily back, please, and we'll look at the CAPC consent agenda.
So the following motions were approved at the last CAPC meeting on September 27th. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of Historical, Philosophical, and Religious Studies for the establishment of an undergraduate certificate, Sports, Cultures, and Ethics. Request from the new College of Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences, School of Mathematical and Natural Sciences for the establishment of a graduate program, MS Biological Data Science. Request from the new College of Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences, School of Humanities, Arts and Cultural Studies for the establishment of an undergraduate certificate, Arts and Humanities in Games. Request from the new College of Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences, School of Social and Behavioral Sciences for the establishment of an undergraduate certificate, Communication, Training, and Assessment. Request from the College of Public Service and Community Solutions, School of Social Work for the establishment of a graduate certificate, Domestic Violence and Evidence-Based Practice.
Thank you. And so now we'll go back around and to the various campuses to see if anybody has any proposals that they would like to remove from the consent agenda. So Robin, any concerns on the downtown campus?
No, we have no concerns.
Thank you. And then Nancy, any concerns that were expressed in Polytechnic?
Nothing here.
Thank you. I know it was.
Jillian Geil from the School of Life Sciences, so you can all remember exactly who I am. I would like to request that 2019-15 be pulled from the consent agenda for the reasons mentioned earlier.
Yeah, perfect. And then, Denise, can you remind us of the procedures of which we'll go through? Just. You're welcome to come up, please.
All we need to do is just go ahead and vote on the consent agenda without that on there.
All right,
so.
Perfect. And that will give both groups an opportunity, hopefully, to have a discussion and resolve any concerns.
Then there can be a choice of either letting it kind of die and go back to the committee for discussion, or we can go ahead and put it as a motion and vote it up or down because it has gone through several levels of. But that's up to you guys.
Okay. Why don't we go ahead and remove it? We'll go ahead and vote on the agenda in the absence of that. And
we have a comment here at West.
Please go ahead. Thank you.
So Dana, this is Stefan. We have a follow-up to the objection about 2019-15. So the process was changed last year so that senators are supposed to look into curriculum change maker and verify way beforehand whether a course has been, if consultation had actually occurred or not. And in case that it hadn't, then they're supposed to talk to their school directors and make the school directors talk to one another and iron out any issues. And if that does not work out, then the deans are supposed to be engaged and solve the problem. So the whole point of that change was to prevent student pullings of courses at the last moment, unless that's really justified because there is an impasse or disagreement. But as far as I know,
our interim director says that it was approved at the dean's level.
So that the course was approved so that the deans talk to one another and that everything is in place. So we just want to verify with the parties opposing the move whether they have the entire information from their dean and their school director.
Hi. Yeah, so having gone through the sort of the documentation and the trail of approval of this master's degree, we can see that, yes, the deans did sort of approve it, but there were some changes kind of in the meantime, specifically this addition of biometry, which is a School of Life Sciences graduate course as a required component that wasn't in the original package when it was put up and gone through to the deans. And so, yes, I agree that we shouldn't be pulling these things at the last minute, but it's something that didn't completely come to everyone's attention. And so now, the way it stands at the moment, we feel that it's necessary to pull it to, work out the details between the two schools of how this is going to work.
Excuse me. This is Ken Sweat from the West Campus. Yeah, I taught biometry 10 years ago. I taught biometry for almost 9 years at this campus. That's not always been exclusively SOLS. It was taught here extensively.
So in the documentation of this master's program that's being proposed, there was no mention of it being actually taught at that campus. It said specifically the School of Life Sciences version of the class. So if that's just a misunderstanding, then I would love to be able to bring that back to SOLS and say this is not, they're not actually planning on using our course. So
okay.
Maybe we should both look at the documentation on that.
As a point of order, really all we need to do at this point is go ahead and either approve or not approve the consent agenda minus this class, and then make the decision of do we bring up and discuss things now, or do we go ahead and let it kind of die and come back?
I mean, I think it would suggest maybe needs more discussion to have greater clarification, only just because if it's just a misunderstanding, it can be readily resolved, I think. And if it is clearly a problem, then somebody miscommunicated.
So this is Chuck. I think I'm just adding to what Denise did. You can still have all these discussions, but you need to pass the rest of the items on the consent agenda,
yeah. So
and then you can resume discussion.
Right, yeah. And so my request is to remove from the consent agenda motion 2019-15, and then vote on the consent agenda in the absence of that one motion. And I do have another gentleman, please.
First, does a removal require a vote by the Senate? Or is the current rule that an individual request is sufficient to remove it? That's the way it is, Denise?
What are parliamentarian?
It doesn't require a vote by the Senate. Any member can ask for something to be removed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then just a suggestion.
Please.
After there's a vote, we need a specific motion, probably from this faculty member, and then the Senate can actually figure out what it wants to do.
And it depends on what that faculty member wants as a motion. If she wants to bring this up, but really this is coming from not the faculty member, it's coming from CAPC.
Right.
And they're the ones to say, okay, we still want to vote on this now because it needs to move forward or not move forward. So we either vote up or down, or we will, like I said, you can just let it die and it will be brought forward at a different time. It'll go back to the committee for discussion.
So when you say,
but that's where the motion is. This is a CAPC consent agenda, so it's CAPC that needs to make the motion for either approval or not approval of that one class or discussion of that one class.
okay. I'll go ahead and invite Lily then to, yep.
Consent agenda first needs to be voted on. That's the first thing we have to do.
Yeah. Well, then let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and then please we'll go ahead and call a vote.
Okay, this is Chuck here. Sorry, the text is very small. I don't seem to have control over that. But it says, do you approve the CAPC consent agenda with Senate Motion 2019-15 removed?
Okay, I will go ahead. Well,
Last call, closing the vote.
thank you, everyone. So 86 yes, 5 no, 4 abstains. So this motion passes as well with the absence of that one item.
Okay, so now CAPC can bring up a motion to approve this class, and people can either say they disagree, this is why we
Just a
disagree.
quick clarification from Wes. It's a degree program, not just a class.
Sorry.
It's a degree program, not just one class that was being proposed.
Yes.
Correct. Thank
okay,
you.
I apologize.
And can I, sorry to jump
Please.
in again, just to clarify, so my understanding about this procedure was that pulling it from the consent agenda, we're not trying to block it, we just need a little bit more time to make sure that the colleges can discuss this. And so I was just hoping we could have another month. My understanding was that this is going to come up again next meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Can we make a comment also from West?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to let Lily just comment briefly before West, if you would hold for one moment, please.
So if the two programs need more time to discuss this, then we'll certainly, add this motion to the Thursday's meeting, CAPC meeting. And then, yeah, before the CAPC meeting, I will email the two programs to see if there's any suggestions that can potentially solve the differences. I think West Campus. No, West Campus.
Thank you, Lily. And please, what was the follow-up to on West Campus?
No, that last comment clarified it, so no follow-up here.
All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. Well, that piece of cake then. All right then, everybody, thank you. I appreciate that everybody reads all these. It's outstanding. So, just a couple more items, please. All of our committees have been working hard, as you can tell. And as such, I would invite a couple of reports, please. I've asked Helene Osipov to talk a little bit about what they've been up to on the University Services Facilities Committee, if you wouldn't mind giving us a little bit of time. Up to you. Thank you.
Okay, the University Services and Facilities Committee met for the first time last month, and we've just gotten started. We've identified a list. We have a nice big list on our plate, and we're going to look and see what we can reasonably do and narrow it down to maybe 3-4 projects that we can work on. I'm very happy to say that one of the things on the list was to get the damn scooters off campus, and that seems to have been done for us, so we're good.
Thank you. I knew the Student Health Advisory Board's working on that as well, so I think we have a good collaborative body of individuals collectively working on keeping everybody, faculty, staff, and students safe. So thank you. Oh, sorry. I just was saying that, yeah, the Health Advisory Board's also working on the same issue, so I think collectively we'll have some good forward progress on this without fractures. And then the second individual with whom I'd like to invite up is Thurman Lockhart, who is the chair of the Research and Creative Activities, and they too have a full slate. Thank you.
All right. This year I'm serving the Research and Creative Activities Committee. We were explore various options for financial support for open access publishing. I think there were some big issues associated with that. We were also investigate and clarify IP ownership associated with online course content. So I think the research is well defined in terms of IP. But the teaching materials and especially online material, I think, is very gray. Although I think there is a policy there, but we wanted to make sure that is clear. And we're also tackling on hack data usage. I don't know, and we'd like to get a survey on that if you guys have some issues with using hack data appropriately or not. So I think there will be some survey that's coming forth. So those are some of the items that we're going to be working on.
Thank you, Thurman. and both Helene and Thurman for your reports and your time on your committees. At this point, I have nothing more. So do anybody have any, time for open forum? Anybody have questions? Again, I'll just check with the campuses. Robin, any questions for open forum on downtown?
No, we don't have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon. Nancy, any questions remaining?
No questions here.
All right. We seem to be clear here in Tempe. And then Owen on West Campus. Any additional? Oh, we have one. Pardon me. I spoke too soon.
Sorry. Just one quick announcement. Paul Curry, School of Civic and Economic Thought and Leadership. Since the provost talked about the shooting in Pittsburgh, I thought I should announce that an ASU graduate last year started a GoFundMe campaign for the synagogue over the weekend. And his name is Shea Katiri. He graduated with degrees from School of Politics and Global Studies, and I think also from School of Historical Philosophical Religious Studies. Then he was involved with our school toward the end of his time at ASU. And I think as of the recent hours, it's raised almost $700,000 for it. So he's an Iranian student who came here, was admitted to ASU. He's applying for asylum to remain in the United States as a United States citizen, and happens to be living with a Jewish roommate in Washington, D.C., studying at Johns Hopkins School for Advanced International Studies. And it was his impulse to start a GoFundMe campaign, sort of send out the word, and then some national journalists picked it up.
Wow.
So almost $700,000 by now. That's from an ASU grad.
That is outstanding. Thank you for sharing. That sheds a positive light on a really, sad tragedy here recently. Thank you. And now, Owen, please, any additional comments from West?
Nothing more here. Thank you.
All right. And we do have one other individual. Please.
I'm Janet Jacobson from the Hugh Downs School. Just want to add a thought on the scooter issue,
Please.
Because I have students who are individual owners of scooters. What I've seen about the talk about managing scooters is all related to the corporations. And so rules need to consider students who actually own their own scooters,
Correct.
because I have students who do. So I just want to make sure that that gets brought into the discussion and we're not just thinking about this as a corporate issue.
Oh, no, I appreciate that. And yeah, because there are 4 companies with whom they are trying to negotiate with, which is great, but it also, the ruling within the state is that no motorized scooters owned or rented. So
All right, thanks.
Thank you for that. Make sure that we're clear. Anything else that anybody has on their minds that they want to share with us?
I do.
Please, Denise. I was like, what?
This is just to make clear what happened with the program that was taken off, Senate Motion 2019-15.
Perfect.
And I'm going to make a motion just to make it very clear, and I'm on the CAPC committee, that this particular motion be sent back to CAPC for review and be brought up at the next meeting for voting.
Perfect. All right. The next Senate meeting.
Yes.
Then, okay. Perfect.
That is the motion. Do I hear a second? Okay. Then we need to go all in favor.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Denise. Yeah, so motion passed. That. Yeah, let's make sure.
We have to vote for it.
Okay. Pardon me. So then we'll go ahead and do. Can we go ahead and do a vote? Okay. All right. So any discussion then that we put Senate Motion 2019-15 back on Thursday's agenda with CAPC, that will be followed up for a final vote at Senate Meeting 4. Any further discussion? Downtown?
Nope.
All right. Polytechnic, Nancy, any further discussion down there?
No.
We probably have agreement here in Tempe. All right. And Owen?
No further discussion here.
All right. Thank you. So then all in.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay, well, great.
Yeah.
We have a question. We'll go ahead and then put it to a vote, please.
This is Chuck at Tempe. I'm going to read it before I put it up. It's, do you approve sending Senate Motion 2019-15 back to committee for review and return to Senate at the next meeting for a vote? And you can vote now. Oops. You can vote now.
Thank you, Chuck.
Nope, nope, sorry. Scratch that. Sorry. Let me start over here.
That was the warm-up.
Talking and clicking is dangerous here. All right. Sorry. It's going to take me 30 seconds because I erased the question. I got to retype it.
That's all right. Early signs were looking good, however.
Okay, the question says what I previously read to you. Do you approve sending Senate Motion 2019-15 back to committee for further review and then return to Senate for a vote?
Give people another minute or second. I think we'll go ahead and close.
All right, last call for voting.
Great. 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 Thank you, everybody. 97 yes, 1 no, 2 abstain. Motion is passed. Thank you. Before I close it down, any last questions, concerns? All right, you all, we are adjourned. Go enjoy this beautiful afternoon. Take care.